Picture, we got all the way to the top of the road you cut in here. We're at where the road dead ends. I walked it. I left the car at the bottom because I didn't know. It's kind of a cloudy. It was rainy yesterday, kind of cloudy today, so I didn't know how slick this was. The road's actually staying in pretty good shape. It's kind of a rock shale, so it doesn't get as muddy as just the pure clay, which is good. And I see you cut it and you crowned it pretty good. So it looks like the rain's running where it's supposed to. There's one rain drainage down at the bottom, right as you come in, that has the big cut. That's a little tricky to get over in the car, but nothing hard to fix. The one thing I see here is using this main road, if you did want to subdivide a few pieces, and I don't know if you've sold any, but very, very easily, you've already got a few driveways cut into some sites I saw on the old Fernando piece here, and another one up here. So we have one here, you have another one here, and then this one up above us is very easy to cut. Just needs a little tractor driveway here, basically lay off the top. You have another one here. I saw you had another one down below. So right away, including your 7 hectares in the front, we'd be counting 1. And you'd have, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 to sell very quickly, very close to the infrastructure you already have without having to do too much work. Then you sell these 5, then kind of move more internal and get to some of the harder to reach places. And I'm not sure what you've sold inside the other fence. So if you can give me a master plan, let me know what direction to take. My guess out here is when you come up this far out of the city, out to the beach, you're generally wanting like a 5 hectare minimum. So, or at least 4 hectares. I would say a 10-acre minimum and maybe a 25-acre maximum here. And I think that they could sell pretty quickly as long as they're priced to what the market could bear. It's a nice climate up here. It's got the animal life, and it's what a lot of the Americans moving down here are looking for. Not so much of the tourist Americans, more of the people that actually want to move here and have a garden and have some chickens and have a little bit of a sustainable farm is really popular these days. And those people's price points are under 150,000. We have yet to sell one. Unless they were trying to do some development idea. We did sell one last year at the 250 mark, but it was like 10 of them going in together, 25,000 a piece. And it was a little different. It was a 60-acre piece. So they were willing to go up to 250. Most of the ones we've been selling are around the 100, 110, 130, those types of price points. The cool thing is I was a little worried driving up. I saw the electric towers that went through, but you sit way higher than them. They don't even get in your view at all. So I think with the basic infrastructure you got in place, have to figure out, what you're going to do for water. One of the things I've been doing on a couple of my farms is just getting a concession from the creek. You have plenty of creeks that run through your property. And what you do is you get the concession going now with Gisela Barca. And then basically in March, Menai will ask to do an inspection of your creek. They'll do a flow test and they'll do the GPS points. And then from there you can basically capture it. What we did on the last farm we just sold was we did the hydraulic pumps. They call them like agaretas. And we ran a catch tank at the creek, ran it to the agaretas, which hydraulically pumped it up to a main tank at the very top. And then we gravity fed it down to the partials. Real simple system, real affordable system, all plastic tanks. And it did the trick. We were allowed to get a concession off the creek for up to 5 houses. And then from there, you can get another concession from one of the other creeks, and you can go from there. So for what you want to do here, if it's just a simple 10, 15 segregations, you could probably get concessions off 2 of your creeks and be done, not have to drill a well or any of that. Now, down on your 7-hectare piece, AYA may or may not get there. I remember it didn't used to, but it's really close. So we could look at that. And I'm sure you also have a spring or 2 in here. If we can find one that the setback doesn't kill a building site, we could get a concession on the spring as well. The creeks are the fastest, so you get that rolling right away, and then the spring usually takes a little bit longer. But there's easily some sites here where you have an old road that went back in. But I think that this site in particular had a little road that kind of went in here. It probably should come in from the back and just make this a nice site. But easy. It's easy to do if you want to get it going. Just let me know what partials. I don't know if you have any master plans, anything done at all. So I'm not so blindfolded here. But happy to help you. So far I don't see any sign of any squatters or I don't see any tire tracks on the road. No signs of anybody really working. I don't see any cattle. So at least on this piece here in LaGuardia, nothing obvious right out the gate here going on. But what I'm doing is I'm showing it to Hayner. It's a good friend of mine here, and he basically knows where it is now. And if we want him to start chopping some of the sites or whatever we need him to do, he's available for you.